Have you ever felt like your intensity scares people? That your silence bothers you more than words, and that your presence carries something that no one can explain? Maybe this isn't a defect. Maybe it's a seal, a secret that the universe entrusted to you. Scorpio is not just a sign. It is a cosmic scar, a forbidden spiritual code, branded into the most enigmatic souls of the Zodiac. And according to Edgar Cayce, the prophet of the unconscious, those born under this energy carry a calling so profound that few can face it without fear. There's a reason why Scorpio is feared, misunderstood, and often avoided. It's not because he's dangerous. It's because he sees what others hide. He feels what others deny. He moves between veils, portals, and shadows as if he had been there before. And maybe it does. Cayce said that Scorpio is the sign of supreme spiritual transformation. It carries the densest shadow not because it is dark, but because it came to illuminate it. Today, you will understand what is behind Scorpio's magnetic and impenetrable aura. You'll discover why so many Scorpios feel intense pain, early losses, and a survival strength that borders on the supernatural. This video is not for the curious. It's for those who feel like something inside has never been fully explained. If this message reached you, it is no coincidence. Comment here, "I carry this energy," and get ready, because what comes next will reveal the most hidden, most spiritual, and most transformative side of the Scorpio sign, the one that most never have the courage to look at. If you have ever felt the weight of carrying emotions that no one sees, if you have experienced deep pain that seemed like punishment, but today you understand that they were initiations, then this video was made for you. Scorpio did not come into the world to be understood, came to understand the world beyond the masks. And therefore, whoever carries this energy needs to recognize themselves, strengthen themselves, and above all, not walk alone. Therefore, comment now, "I accept my Scorpio essence," or "Yo, I carry this energy." Your comment isn't just a text, it's a ritual, a spiritual confirmation, a seal that you are ready to discover the truth that few have the courage to face. This content is more than information. It is a mirror to your soul, and if it touched you in some way, if it activated memories, sensations, goosebumps, or even that silent tear, leave a like right now. This shows that you are vibrating with that frequency, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, now is the time. Each video here is a new spiritual revelation, a new key to deciphering the divine mission that lives hidden in the signs and in you. Like, comment, and subscribe, because we still have a lot to reveal. And what comes next will further delve into the mysteries that make Scorpio the most feared and most necessary sign in the Zodiac. From an early age, Scorpios are forged in silence. It is not just any silence, but a dense, almost mystical type of silence. A silence that seems to speak from within, that burns from within. While others talk, Scorpio feels. While others live on the surface, he dives. He dives into emotions that he doesn't always understand, but that push him to places that others avoid. And the most curious thing? He always comes back from these dives with more strength. Scorpio doesn't break, it transforms. And this is one of the great hidden truths about this sign. Pain never comes to destroy you, it comes to awaken you. It is no exaggeration to say that most Scorpios experience a type of spiritual initiation since childhood. They notice everything. They capture glances, secrets in the air, unspoken lies. And this, instead of protecting them, often exposes them. Because feeling so much is not easy. Love so much, trust so deeply, give yourself so intensely, and still be betrayed, be left, being misunderstood. It marks the soul, but it also shapes. Scorpio is trained by the universe through pain, not to live in it, but to transcend it, to understand the darker side of existence, and yet not lose your light. These early losses, these unexplained wounds, these cycles of emotional death and rebirth that seem to never end, all of this is part of the hidden code that Edgar Cayce said was written in the soul of Scorpios. These are not coincidences. These are proofs. They are portals. And Scorpio, with its almost supernatural courage, is one of the few signs that faces these portals head-on. He doesn't fear the end because he knows, deep down, that each end is just a disguise for a new beginning. Some say that Scorpio carries a dangerous energy, that your gaze passes through, that your presence weighs. But what many don't realize is that this intensity is actually the result of years, sometimes lifetimes, of spiritual survival. Scorpio didn't get here for no reason. He wasn't born with this magnetism for nothing. There is a calling within him, a silent mission that pulses, a constant feeling that there is something bigger happening, even when no one else sees it, and that often makes him feel alone, isolated, different. But it is exactly in this being different that the key lies. How many times have you found yourself asking, "Why me?" Or, "Why do I feel things so strongly?" This emotional intensity is not weakness. It's not drama. It's a gift, a raw gift. Yes, but also a rare one. A gift that needs to be honed by life, by pain, by failures. It's as if each Scorpio came into the world with an ancestral flame within them, but needed to go through storms to protect it. And those who succeed, who don't let that flame go out, become something extraordinary. Emotional guides, unconscious healers, guardians of truths that most are not ready to hear. And have you ever noticed how, even after everything, Scorpio always comes back stronger? No matter how much he falls, how much he loses, how much he bleeds, he gets up. Not the same, not intact, but renewed, wiser, more centered, quieter perhaps, but with even sharper eyes. That's because Scorpio doesn't yell back. He watches. He understands. It transforms. He transmutes. Your revenge is never small because your pain never was either. But above that, his mission is never about revenge. It's about healing. And before healing others, he needs to learn to heal himself. Often, this healing starts at rock bottom, at the moment when everything seems lost, when everyone is gone, when only he remains, and the abyss. But it is precisely there that Scorpio finds what other signs would never touch: the soul itself, the most authentic, raw, and indestructible part of yourself. And it is in this place that he realizes that he was never truly alone, that those pains, those losses, those ruptures, were in fact the secret path to revealing your true power. So, if you feel like you carry something inside you that you still haven't been able to explain, if you realize that your pain has taught you more than any book, if, even in silence, you feel that you are guided by an invisible but constant force, no, you are not crazy. You are not wrong. You are a Scorpio. And that means the universe has prepared you for something much greater than the world will ever admit. It's not an exaggeration. It's destiny. Comment below if you've ever experienced this feeling of, "I'm different, but I never understood why." Or if you've ever felt like you were born with a mission that you don't know how to explain. Write the phrase, "My pain woke me up," if you recognize all of this as part of your journey. And if this content spoke to you, enjoy this video now, because it shows the universe and the algorithm that you are ready to truly awaken. And don't forget to subscribe, because what's to come will reveal even deeper truths about Scorpio and about you. The medium Edgar Cayce, known as the Sleeping Prophet, did not see signs just as psychological archetypes or astrological labels. For him, each sign carried a specific type of spiritual energy, with functions far beyond human personality or behavior. And when he talked about Scorpio, Cayce used words that not even Scorpios themselves would dare say out loud. He said that Scorpio was not just a human being on a journey, it was a spiritual catalyst, an incarnate portal, a kind of cosmic alchemist placed on Earth to accelerate the transformation of the souls around him, including himself. But don't be fooled. This mission does not come wrapped in lights, blessings, and calms. Cayce saw in Scorpio the symbol of collective transmutation, because he knew that this sign was called to cross territories that most avoid: trauma, loss, intensity, the duality between the desire to destroy and the need to regenerate. Scorpios are confronted with the invisible forces that move the world: death, rebirth, sexuality, power, mystery, and become intimate with them not by choice but by destiny. Cayce believed that these people were prepared even before birth, as if their soul had accepted a spiritual contract to carry the shadow that others deny. And that explains so much, doesn't it? The feeling of always being in internal conflict even when life seems normal. The impression that you were born carrying something that is not yours, as if you were living with the responsibility of healing pain that you cannot even name. Scorpios live in silence because they know that if they said everything they understand, the world would not be able to bear it. There is a spiritual lucidity behind the deep gaze of those born under this sign, and Cayce recognized that. He said that when he looked at a Scorpio, he saw a spiritual warrior trapped in human flesh, someone who carries not only the scars of what they have already experienced, but also the marks of battles that, and they are not even yours, marks, inherited from ancestry, from past lives, or from the collective mission they took on before arriving here. This type of speech is neither common nor comfortable. Most people prefer to see Scorpio only as the sign of mystery, intensity, jealousy, sensuality, simplistic labels that try to reduce something that doesn't fit into any common category. But Cayce saw beyond that. For him, Scorpio was the sign that most touched the invisible, the bridge between the physical plane and the more subtle planes. And that's why Scorpios often face deep emotional illnesses, cyclical existential crises, or a constant desire to go deeper, as if the superficial were never enough. It's not paranoia, it's not drama, it's not exaggeration, it's a spiritual mission. And here comes something powerful. When Cayce talked about healing, he didn't just talk about healing the body. He talked about healing the field, the vibration, the spiritual pattern that repeats suffering and blockages throughout lives. And according to him, Scorpio is one of the few signs that has direct access to this field, even without knowing it. This explains the prophetic dreams, the intuitions that scare, the goosebumps that appear for no reason, the discomfort in charged environments. Scorpios feel too much because they are born with a rare energetic sensitivity. It's not about being intense, it's about being a living spiritual sensor. And maybe that's why so many people move away from Scorpio for no reason. They feel that there is something there that reveals, that exposes. Because Scorpio doesn't need to talk to provoke transformation. Your presence already does that. Your silence already activates others. It's as if Scorpio energy is a mirror that no one can ignore, a mirror that shows the truth, even when it hurts. And this truth can be liberating for those who are ready, or devastating for those who still live in illusion. Cayce saw this as a spiritual gift, but also as a burden. That's why he said that Scorpio needs periods of isolation, deep inner dives, moments of symbolic death to be able to remain whole. And here's something you may have never heard before. Scorpios don't get reborn because it's pretty. They are reborn because if they don't, they die inside. They are reborn because each cycle exhausts them so much that the only way out is to transform. Once again, Cayce saw this pattern of death and rebirth as a kind of invisible sacrament, something sacred but silent. Journey that is not told in books but felt in the flesh, in the heart, in the bones. And if you've come this far listening to all this with your chest tight, maybe it's because you carry this seal too. If any of these words touched you in an inexplicable way, it's because that memory isn't just in the mind and it's in the soul. And the Scorpio soul recognizes when it is being called. Therefore, if you felt that all of this spoke directly to you, comment below on the phrase, "I am a spiritual catalyst." This is not just a confirmation, it is a vibrational recognition. And if you've ever experienced moments when you felt you were responsible for healing the environment around you, or for maintaining strength even when everything seemed to be falling apart, write in the comments, "I carry out this mission in silence." Let's use these comments as a ritual of connection between awakened Scorpios. And if you haven't liked or subscribed yet, now is the time. Not to feed an algorithm, but to assert your presence on this journey. Because what comes next will reveal the spiritual heart of the Scorpio shadow, and the key to transforming it into light. But there is a price that not everyone is willing to pay, and this price is called shadow. Scorpion energy is not only accompanied by spiritual gifts, vibrational sensitivity, or prophetic intuitions. Along with all this, she carries a deep burden, the obligation to look at what the entire world is trying to hide. While most people strive to look good, to protect themselves from the raw truth, Scorpio has the silent and non-negotiable mission of facing the darkest aspects of existence head-on, not by choice, but by nature, by code, by destiny. Scorpio touches where no one else wants to touch. He feels what others avoid feeling. The shadow he carries is not just his, it is collective. He manifests it, yes, but he also mirrors it. He lives in his own skin, the conflicts that people brush under the carpet, the forbidden desire, the unconscious fear, the obsession with control, the unexpressed anger, the impulse to destroy, and, at the same time, the call to regenerate. Scorpio experiences all these extremes, and more than that, he lives among them, being forced to integrate forces that seem impossible to coexist. And he does this every day, in silence, in depth, in solitude. This is the reason why Scorpios often cannot maintain light, superficial, or neutral relationships. No because they don't want to, but because their energy simply doesn't allow it. They are born with this portal open, this door between worlds wide open, and everything that enters there is amplified. Love becomes obsession, pain becomes a ritual, loss becomes a portal, betrayal becomes rebirth. But before being reborn, Scorpio needs to die symbolically, and that is not a figure of speech. It is a real, intense, and deeply spiritual process, which requires total surrender. It is the soul being stripped away, layer by layer, until only the essence remains. And that essence, when it reveals itself, shines darkly like an eclipse. Hypnotic, rare, transformative. That's why Scorpio is scary, because he doesn't pretend. He doesn't smile to please. He doesn't tell you what you want to hear. He tells you what your soul needs to hear, even if you hate it for a while. It represents in the Zodiac the moment of truth, the inevitable confrontation with what has been denied for too long, and most people run away from it. Run away from your own shadow. Run away from your own darkness. Run away from unresolved pain, from unaccepted desire, from power you don't know how to use. But Scorpio doesn't. Scorpio embraces this darkness, and that's why it's the most feared, because where he enters, nothing remains hidden. But this is not about wanton destruction. Scorpio's shadow is like a ritualistic fire. It burns what is false to reveal what is true. And that truth hurts, yes, but it also frees. The problem is that this liberation comes at a price that not everyone is prepared to pay, because it involves giving up masks, illusions, comfort zones. It involves accepting that control is an illusion, that real power only comes from total surrender. And no one teaches this like Scorpio. He doesn't need to explain it. He embodies it. He lives it. He shows this with his own look. Have you ever seen the look on a Scorpio's face when they're silent? It is not empty. It's loaded, intense, deep. It's as if he's seeing beyond your appearance, cutting through your layers, scanning your soul. And in a way he is, not because he wants to invade, but because his energy was designed for that. Scorpio doesn't see with his eyes, he sees with his spirit. And this spiritual vision is what makes his shadow so impactful, because it reveals, without asking permission, what you hide, even from yourself. And here's the cosmic irony. Scorpio is feared because it represents what everyone carries. The most dangerous thing about Scorpio isn't in him, it's in us. That's what he awakens. That's what it activates. That's what he mirrors. That's why people often fall madly in love with Scorpios, and then walk away, scared, without knowing how to explain it. It's because they were seen, in truth, and being seen from the inside, in a world of appearances, is almost unbearable for those who are not yet ready. But Scorpio doesn't have time to deal with the shallow. He knows that his time on Earth is not to please, but to awaken. And waking up hurts. It hurts because it breaks down walls, because it breaks patterns, because it gives birth to something new where before there was only defense. And this process, when done consciously, transforms lives. But when rejected, it creates chaos. Therefore, the Scorpio shadow needs to be respected, not feared, because she is the guardian of a power that heals, that cleanses, that frees. If you felt that all of this speaks to what you live in silence, comment below. I embraced my shadow. This phrase carries a power that activates the recognition of your inner journey. And if you've ever had to face truths about yourself that no one else could see, write, I saw what no one wanted to see. Use the comments as a space for spiritual truth. Enjoy this video if you felt your soul being touched at some point, and sign up now to continue this profound journey, because what comes next will open even more secret doors of the Scorpio soul, and maybe even yours. Scorpio doesn't just feel. Scorpio absorbs. Scorpio perceives what no one says, feels what no one admits, reads what is hidden between the lines of words, in involuntary gestures, in silence full of intention. And no matter how much the world tries to label this as excessive sensitivity or exaggerated emotional intensity, the truth is that this sensitivity is not emotional. It is spiritual. It's as if Scorpio has an invisible antenna, always picking up signals that others ignore, always playing frequencies that most people don't even know exist. Some call it intuition, others call it acute perception. But for those who know Scorpio energy, you know, this is pure mediumship, disguised as an intense presence. How many times have you had that feeling that something was wrong, and shortly afterwards everything fell apart, exactly as you predicted? How many times have you dreamed of someone and, the next day, received a message from that person, as if your spirit had visited hers before you even said any words, to be exchanged? How many times have you walked away from someone without a logical explanation, just because you felt, and then discovered that this person wasn't as real as he seemed? Scorpio doesn't fool himself for long. He may even remain silent, he may even pretend to believe, he may even let the other person believe that everything is okay, but inside, he already knows. This ability to see before, to feel before, to capture the vibration before anything manifests in the physical world is part of the deep psychic sensitivity that Scorpio carries since birth, and it's no coincidence. This sensitivity is part of its mission. It is one of the most powerful instruments that life gives to Scorpios to fulfill their task of transformation. Because to transform, you first need to understand what is hidden, and this, Scorpio does with almost supernatural precision. He sees inside. He realizes the truth that is hidden even from those who carry it. And all of this comes with signs. Small, sometimes imperceptible to those who are not paying attention, but for Scorpio, they sound like spiritual alarms. A sudden shiver, a look that lasts half a second longer than it should, a dream full of symbols that make no logical sense but that leave an emotional mark so strong that it is impossible to ignore. Scorpio dreams of archetypes, of omens, of voices, of symbols from other lives. These are not empty dreams. They are coded. Messages from the soul, messages from the collective unconscious, warnings from the spiritual plane. And they come when you least expect them. Many Scorpios think they are going crazy because they feel too much, think too much, and have enormous difficulty explaining to others what is happening inside them. Because what happens inside a Scorpio is not simple, it is not linear, it is not logical, it's spiritual, it's deep, it's mysterious. That's why they try to keep quiet, they try to fit in, they try to ignore the signs. But they don't stop, they insist. They come as intuitions, as unexplained discomforts, as chance encounters that change everything, like that inner voice that says, "Don't go there," and that, when ignored, always proves to be right. Scorpio's hidden sensitivity is not weakness. It is ancestral power. It is a spiritual inheritance from past lives. It is the consequence of souls who have already gone through many existences and returned with the purpose of going beyond the superficial. Scorpios feel more because they carry more. Load codes, codes of healing, symbolic death, inner rebirth. They live through portals invisible to human eyes. They enter an environment and already know whether the energy is charged or not. They touch someone and feel if that person is vibrating light or hiding darkness. Scorpio doesn't need proof. He needs to trust what he feels. And when you finally learn to do this, your life changes completely, because you begin to use your sensitivity as a compass, not as a prison. This is the turning point. When Scorpio understands that he did not come into the world to please, nor to be understood by everyone. He came to see what others don't see, feel what others ignore, and transform what no one had the courage to touch. And for that, he needs to trust his own vibration. The signs are everywhere, all the time, and Scorpio notices them, not because he wants to, but because he was born with this gift. This is your spiritual nature. Denying it is getting sick. To repress it is to lose the way. Honoring her is starting to live your true mission. If you have ever had dreams that seemed like messages, felt goosebumps for no reason, or walked away from someone just because something told you to, comment below. I carry this energy. And if you feel like you were born with a different perception, recognized yourself in this silent gift of sensing what no one says, write. My intuition is my guide. Your comments are not just words, they are spiritual statements. And if you haven't liked this video yet, do so now. And if you haven't signed up yet, this is your chance to continue accessing these spiritual codes that were made for those who feel too much, like you. Because in the next step of this journey, we will reveal why this sensitivity is only activated when you recognize your mission, and what happens when you try to live like others, denying your essence, the shadow of Scorpio. So, misunderstood and often feared is not a punishment, much less a spiritual curse. It is, in fact, armor, an invisible shield forged in silence, pain, and resistance. It is a sacred protection that allows Scorpio to cross emotional and spiritual territories where no one else dares to tread. While others avoid their own inner abysses, Scorpio descends. Dive deep, not out of masochism but out of mission, because he knows, even if he hasn't put it into words yet, that what hurts in him is what needs to be healed in the collective. He feels for everyone. Transform inside what the world resists transforming outside. And that is where the key to your spiritual mission lies. Scorpio was made to walk between worlds. He moves between the visible and the invisible, between the surface and the underground, between pain and redemption. Every crisis, every loss, every rupture he experiences has a greater purpose: to open spiritual doors. Doors that, when crossed, not only heal your own wounds, but also open the way for others to cross theirs. The pain that Scorpio feels is often not even his own. It's ancestral, it's karmic, it's collective. But because he was chosen as a channel, he carries this energy to transform it, to give shape, name, expression to everything that the world hides, and by revealing, freeing. This is why Scorpio rarely has an easy life, not because he is being punished, but because he is being prepared, tested, polished, crossing the inner underworld and coming back with wisdom is not for everyone. It is for those who have spiritual courage, for those who, even in pieces, keep moving, for those who, even in the darkness, continue to light a candle. Scorpio does not destroy for pleasure. Scorpio reveals what needs to die, because only when something dies can something new be born in its place. And this ability to cause symbolic death is what makes it one of the most powerful, and also loneliest, signs in the Zodiac. Scorpio learns, throughout their lives, that they cannot carry this mission superficially. Everything about it demands depth. Shallow relationships exhaust you. Lies intoxicate you. Falsehood destroys you. Because all of this vibrates outside of your frequency. Your mission is to transform what is rotten into seed. It's taking the mud of the soul and extracting from there a medicine, an elixir, an answer. And this is not something you learn in books. It's something you live, that bleeds, what passes through. Therefore, many Scorpios are natural healers even if they never realize it. They heal with their gaze, with their presence, with the silence that welcomes, with the speech that tears, with the touch that crosses emotional defenses that no one else could access. But for this healing to be possible, Scorpio must first accept their own shadow. You need to stop fighting your depth. You need to stop trying to fit into what is normal, what is shallow, what is superficial. Because every time they deny their essence, a Scorpio becomes ill. Energy begins to accumulate within the body, causing symptoms, illnesses, emotional crises, and sometimes even traumas that repeat themselves as if the universe were shouting, "Get back on your path." And this path always involves diving. It always demands delivery. It always invites the destruction of the old so that the new can be born. This is the essence of Scorpio rebirth. Scorpio's spiritual mission is to rescue the hidden truth, and that starts within yourself. By recognizing himself as a spiritual being in constant regeneration, Scorpio activates his power. He stops being a survivor of his own pain and becomes an alchemist, a transmuter, a being who understands that feeling too much was never the problem. The problem was not knowing what to do with all of this. And now you know. You know that this emotional accumulation is spiritual raw material. You know that your gift is not just feeling, it is transforming what you feel into wisdom. When Scorpio allows himself to be who he is, without masks, without defenses, without guilt for feeling what he feels, something sacred happens. Pain stops being a burden and becomes a map. Silence stops being isolation and becomes a space of revelation. Intensity stops being exaggeration and becomes a channel of healing. And you don't just change yourself, you change the environment. You change the vibration around you. Because an awakened Scorpio is not just a more conscious person, it is an invisible point of light on the energetic map of the world, a beacon for those still lost in the shadows. If you've come this far feeling like something inside you has been touched, named, or finally understood, comment now below on the phrase, "My pain is my armor." And if you feel that your spiritual mission involves helping others transform, even if you are still going through your own processes, write, "I return from the underworld with healing." Your comments are not just words, they are vibrational statements that confirm you're awakened. Enjoy this video if you felt your energy validated on some level, and subscribe to the channel, because what comes next will reveal what happens when Scorpio tries to escape who they are, and how this silences their own soul. But be careful, because there is a breaking point, an invisible but decisive moment that determines whether Scorpios will flourish spiritually or become lost within themselves. This point happens when Scorpio starts trying to adapt too much. When, tired of being intense, deep, different, you start to want to be like others. And this one, Seijo, at first glance seems harmless, even healthy. After all, who has never wanted a little peace, lightness, acceptance? But in the case of Scorpio, this can be a fatal mistake. Because every time he denies his intensity, every time he tries to fit into a space that was made for simpler minds and shallower hearts, something inside him starts to get sick. What was a gift begins to become a symptom. What was once spiritual sensitivity begins to be labeled as emotional instability. Intuition begins to be drowned out by external voices, which tell you to stop exaggerating, feeling so much, going deeper. The mission begins to be forgotten, swallowed up by soulless routines and superficial relationships. And then, the Scorpio soul, accustomed to living with purpose, begins to wither. The flame that had accompanied him since childhood began to fade, not all at once, because Scorpio is resistant, but in small doses, in silences that used to be a refuge and now become a prison, in isolation that used to be a choice and now becomes an exile. When Scorpio tries to be common, he stops being a channel, and when the channel closes, the energy that previously flowed begins to accumulate inside. This is where unexplained pain arises, the constant anguish, the feeling that nothing makes sense, that no one understands, that the world has lost its color. This is not a lack of love. This is not ordinary depression. It's spiritual disconnection. It is the symptom of a soul that was designed to live with intensity and purpose, but is trying to live as if it were anyone else. Scorpio was not born to repeat patterns. He was born to break through, to go further, to question, to destroy what is false and rebuild from the essence. Denying their intensity doesn't make Scorpio stronger. It makes them more fragile, because its strength comes exactly from the depth it carries, from the connection with what the majority rejects, from the courage to face truths that others prefer to ignore. When he moves away from this, he loses the map. And without this map, you start walking in circles within your own emotional labyrinth. He begins to get involved with people who don't see him, in places that don't nurture him, in stories that don't belong to him. And each of these choices drains your light, extinguishes your original spark, turns off your spiritual radar. Scorpio's life is not light because he came with a dense mission, but this density is divine. It's not a burden, it's a tool. But when he starts treating it as something that needs to be hidden or repressed, this tool turns against him. The energy that was meant to heal begins to hurt. The gift that was made to guide begins to confuse. The intuition that was a compass turns into paranoia. And the force that was light begins to bow to unilluminated shadow. Scorpio doesn't lose its power, it silences it. And this weakens him more than any external enemy could. To deny one's own gift is to fuel one's own destruction, because a gift, when ignored, turns into ruin, in repetition of painful cycles, in emotional sabotage, in anger that has nowhere to go, in nameless resentment, in causeless tiredness. Scorpio begins to lose the sparkle in their eyes. You begin to discredit your own intuition. You begin to accept less than you deserve. And all of this comes from disconnection with your essence. It's not bad luck. It's not punishment. It's just the result of trying to live a life that doesn't resonate with the soul it carries. The universe, in turn, does not let this go unnoticed. When Scorpio strays from its purpose, the signs appear. Synchronicities disappear. Opportunities wither. Relationships become empty, and the world, once full of hidden messages, becomes silent, because spiritual language remains silent before those who close themselves off from it. But even in this silence, the Scorpio soul is still there, waiting for the call, waiting for the moment to awaken again, to assume who you are, to rescue your intensity as a sacred tool. If you feel that, at some point in your life, you tried to fit in where you didn't fit, tried to erase your depth to be accepted, tried to silence the voice of your soul to appear normal, comment below, "I refuse to be ordinary." And if you recognize that your pain increased when you denied your own gift, write, denying, "My intensity made me sick." These comments are more than words, are spiritual reaffirmations. They are like vibrational seals that reconnect you with your origin. Like this video, if it spoke to your truth, and if you haven't signed up yet, do so now, because the next step on this journey will reveal how Scorpio can rekindle their flame when they choose to live according to their essence, and not according to the world's expectations. If you've come this far and felt the weight of the words, as if they were taken directly from your soul, know that this was no coincidence. Scorpio energy does not act by chance. She moves through synchronicities, of meetings with a time marked by spirituality, of messages that seem common, but carry keys that unlock dormant parts within you. Nothing is by chance when it comes to Scorpio. Nothing is shallow. Nothing is said without a deeper reason. Everything carries a symbol, a vibration, a calling. Therefore, if you feel crossed by these spiritual truths, do not resist. Don't try to rationalize too much. Don't think, "Am I really like this?" Because if this message gave you chills, if some phrase touched a nerve that you didn't even know existed, if any part of what was said seemed more real than everything you heard during the week, then yes, this message was for you. And not just to inform you, but to remind you. Because Scorpio doesn't need to learn everything again. He needs to remember who he is. He needs to reconnect with what he already knows in silence, with what you have lived in other lives, with what you carry in your bones even without having learned it from books. The Scorpio soul is not young. She's been here before. She has already been injured, she has already been exiled, she has already been silenced. But she was also a channel of healing, she was an alchemist, she was a messenger of the light hidden within the darkness. And today, at this very moment, you are being called again to remember that, to stop denying your depth, to stop running away from your mission, to stop trying to be something that will never fit you. You are not ordinary, and that's okay. You didn't come for this. You came to activate portals, to cross shadows, to transform pain into wisdom. Not in a hurry, not with obligation, but truthfully. And this truth begins when you accept your essence, when you stop fighting what you feel, when you understand that what you feel is not a defect, it is a compass. When you understand that this intensity that you carry in your eyes, in your hands, in your words, in your silence, is the vibrational signature of your soul. It just needs to be recognized. It just needs to be welcomed. It just needs to be released. Right now, as you hear these words, there may be something moving inside you. It can be a slight shiver, an emotion that rises without explanation, a memory that manifests itself, a desire to cry for no reason. Let it come. This is not weakness. This is energetic release. This is your soul responding to the call, and this is the time to allow yourself to experience a small activation ritual. Because every time Scorpio recognizes itself spiritually, something changes in its frequency. He begins to attract responses. Start noticing new signs. Begin to access places where before there was only noise. So, if this message spoke to you, if it touched you in a way that you can't ignore, comment now, "I accept my Scorpio essence." Write it as a vibrational seal, like a commitment to yourself, like a silent rescue of what you always were even when no one saw it. And if you feel like you carry this ancient energy, this depth that sometimes scares others, but that you've already begun to accept as part of who you are, like this video now. Like it because it shows the universe that you're open to more, open to the spiritual codes that continue to be revealed here. And if you know someone, Scorpio, who needs to hear this, share. Don't keep this message to yourself, because Scorpios shouldn't walk alone when they can wake up together. This message is a spiritual reminder that shadow, when understood, becomes light. And sometimes all someone needs is to be reminded that their pain was not in vain, that your silence has purpose, that your intensity is sacred. Now get ready, because in the next video, we're going to enter another vibrational field, a silent but incredibly powerful territory, the secret mission of the sign of Virgo, a gift that requires balance, precision, total dedication, and that very few can sustain without becoming ill. If you are a Virgo, or live with someone of this sign, you need to listen to what will be revealed. It's not about personality, it's about purpose, about the type of soul that chooses to serve but that keeps within itself a silent force capable of healing the invisible. So, stay here. The journey is just beginning, and the chosen ones are already awakening. If you've made it this far to the last second of this video, it's because something inside you resonated with this truth, and that's no small feat. It's a sign that you didn't just listen with your ears, but with your soul. And for that reason, I want to make you a special invitation. Subscribe to the channel now. Here, each video is a key. Each word carries a code. And if this content touched you, the next one could transform you even more. To let me know that you stayed until the end, comment below. I went to the end because this message was for me. This phrase is like a spiritual seal, a way of confirming to yourself and to the universe that you are ready to continue on this journey of awakening and inner truth. Oh, and don't forget to leave a like. If this energy has crossed you, this is your way of giving back and keeping that connection active. This helps the channel grow, but more than that, it helps this message reach other people who also need to remember who they are. And now, if you want to continue this deep dive, click on the video that appears here on the left side of your screen. It is the natural continuation of this spiritual journey and may contain exactly what you don't even know you need to hear yet. See you there.